It's the major announcement about the coronavirus crisis.
We need to get ahead of this wave, and we need to do it today.
All schools closed, the economic fallout, and a look at how many people are infected in the state. National emergency. President Trump issues the alert for America.
But it is only the beginning of what we're really doing, and now we're in a different phase.
And the rush is on.
Got some toilet paper, some paper towels, and some formula.
A look at the long lines for supplies and what you can do to beat the crowds.
Thanks for being with us this afternoon, and we begin with breaking news. Schools all across Washington state will be closed for 6 weeks starting in just a few days. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Janner Castro.
And I'm Mark Wright. Governor Jay Inslee made the announcement within minutes of President Trump declaring that national emergency over coronavirus. So our closure impacts 295 school districts in Washington, both public and private. If they aren't already closed, they have to be closed by this coming Tuesday and stay shut down until April 24th. 1.2 million students are impacted.
And the governor also expanding his ban on large events to the entire state. He also announced that the total number of deaths has risen to 37, with 568 confirmed cases among the 6,500 people who have now been tested.
There are now corona cases in just about every state in the U.S., either confirmed by state health departments or the CDC. We have several news crews out today following the latest developments. Kristen Ayers is live in Kent, where a man in a quarantine site walked away.
But first, we want to get right to Drew Mickelson live in Olympia, where a school closure announcement affects more than 1 million students. Drew?
Well, Jessica and Mark, the governor says the growing number of cases and deaths really forced him to make these restrictions statewide effective next Tuesday. He says it will help the state, quote, get ahead of the wave. Inslee compared these days to World War II, when Americans were encouraged to share their tin and other metals for the benefit of the country. Some schools, like Olympia's Pioneer Elementary, closed today ahead of next week's start date. The district says someone with a connection to the school has a presumptive positive test. State Superintendent Chris Rakedall talked of the shared sacrifice the community is going to have to make. He says everyone from school bus drivers will be involved during this time, serving and delivering free lunches, and teachers will continue to educate students, perhaps remotely. He also explained how some campuses are going to be turned into child care centers, but the governor says he is urging parents to find alternatives.
So we are really asking people to think of the schools as the child care center of last resort, and we want to make sure the priority of that is given for the families of healthcare workers, because we simply cannot have nurses leaving hospitals when they become deluged with patients to do child care, and same thing for first responders.
The governor says he did not reach this decision lightly or easily, but says it is the best decision for the health of the entire state. Back to you.
Drew, before you go, the governor has talked potentially about calling up the National